Olympics of cooking.
Here with us in the studio, we have Cherie. Cherie, thanks for joining us once again. She's from the Straits Times, and today, all about that article that you wrote for the Straits Times about Bocuse d'Or.
Lucky you got to go to France.
I know.
Yeah, this was back in January, right, where it happened at Lyon. So, for the people who are not familiar with Bocuse d'Or, can you tell us a bit more about this competition?
Right. So essentially, in the culinary world, they call it the Olympics of gastronomy, even though there is an actual culinary Olympics. But this is apparently, well, according to the Bocuse d'Or people at least, this is the real deal. This is the most prestigious cooking competition in the world. It's very hard to win. It requires a lot of money, a lot of time. Each country is represented by one person, and you kind of have like an assistant chef and a couple of hands to help you with the cooking. But it's really a one-man show, which makes it very challenging.
As an Olympics, because I see it as an Olympics, which means there's got to be an awful lot that they have to do.
How many
dishes?
How many dishes are they doing?
Two dishes, which
two.
Sounds simple, but it's very elaborate. So one dish is on a plate, which isn't your typical like IKEA plate. It's huge and there's a lot of components to it. And one dish is on a platter, which is, it's very elaborate. There are like different layers to it. There's sides, there's a main. Yeah, it's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, and they have 5.5 hours.
5.5 hours to put everything together.
Two
dishes.
Wow.
And it's tough because we're talking about 24 countries that are competing, right?
That's just in the final.
Oh.
Yeah, so you have to clear semi-finals first, and yeah.
I'm just going back to the 5.5 hours for two dishes. It takes me 3 hours to boil rice. Because I burn it 7 times.
So that's finals. 24 countries in the finals. But do you know how many countries are represented initially? Like, must be quite a fair bit, right?
Yeah, I think they were telling me about 70.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the initial pool.
All right. And the fact that Team Singapore finished 6th this year, right, which is the best in Asia. And leading the team was Chef Matthew Leong, right? He works in a restaurant in Norway called Rina. It's a 3-star Michelin restaurant. Very proud of what he's achieved, but it must have been so difficult, like so demanding. In terms of what he's done to get there.
Well, I tell you what, let's come back and talk about that on Facebook, how demanding it is, not only physically but mentally, and I hear even financially.
The Morning Drive.
Okay, so now we're on Facebook. Now, Matthew, who represented Singapore at the Bocuse d'Or in January, the competition, like we mentioned, is so demanding physically, mentally, financially. What are some of the sacrifices you've found out about these chefs they've made?
Right. So I think in Matthew's case, it was quite intense. So he's been training for about 3 years. From November to about the end of January, he had paused his work at Rina, and he was really training full time. And there was 19-hour days. He was training nonstop, 7 days a week.
Good Lord.
Yeah. I don't know how he did it, but yeah, he was saying that he loves it. He loves the stress. He loves the adrenaline. Hats off to him. I could never, but he's built different, I guess. But yeah, for some of the other chefs as well, I think he got lucky in the sense that his boss was very supportive. But some chefs, they have to train on top of their regular work hours.
Right.
So Cherie Lok, this other chef that I was speaking to, I think she had to do training, I think, before work or after work. And Jess, who's the bartender who just won the Sustainable Cocktail Challenge, he also had to work on his, he had to train on his off days. And yeah, essentially, he said it was like, you never got a break.
I'm just thinking of training 19 hours a day. How many dishes do you cook in 19 hours if you're training? Good grief.
Yeah, even his dog got sick of eating the scraps off. And it was foie gras. It was good food.
Next time I'll be his dog. I'll go eat the scraps.
Me too. Okay, so finishing in 6th place, best in Asia, that's a huge thing. But I know this is not the first time we've placed, right? Back in the 80s, a chef called William Y. He finished third place, and that was like the highest placing that we've done as a country.
Right.
Why do you think it's tough, or what do you think this means for Singapore's standing in terms of the culinary scene?
Yeah, so Yeah, I mean, back then in 1989, obviously coming in third was still a huge achievement.
Yeah.
But I think even at this year's ceremony, they were saying that every other competition just increases by leaps and bounds, and people pump more money into the competition, which just means that the standards keep rising. So I think finishing sixth, when previously, Singapore sort of ended around the 18 to 12 position, is a huge jump. And there were media personnel from other countries coming up to me being like, oh, I heard Singapore did really well. I heard, people are really impressed with Matthew's dish. And I was like, oh, okay. Kind of feels like, we're being put on the map a little bit.
Okay, but why is it? Okay, we got 1/3. We're usually 12 to 18. We got a sixth. Why is it that we don't see ourselves with the gold?
Yeah, we're all trying to answer that question, but yeah, I think it's pretty tough when it's not really in our culture. I think Singaporeans, they're not very familiar to Bocuse d'Or. It's very much a European thing. We simply don't have the funds that they do. We don't have the sponsorships. We have some government support, but it's certainly not like the Olympics to us. It's not a priority.
Right.
And even the judging itself, it's quite a murky process. And so Eric Teo, who is the chef who was president of the Singapore team, in the last Bocuse d'Or in 2021, he was saying that, as a judge, there are these 5 countries that usually place around the top 5, top 3. And if you kind of want to put a new addition into that select group, you have to justify yourself. And so I think there's a bit of pressure in that sense, sticking to the status quo and not disrupting, the balance of things. So to speak.
Wow.
Sweden took the bronze, Denmark took silver, and no surprises there, France won the gold at this year's Bocuse d'Or. And the what was mentioned in the article as well was, interestingly, support. Right, the teams that these countries sent, like Denmark had a contingent of 200 supporters. So the country itself paid for these people, the fans, to go there and rah-rah.
Yeah.
Right? We had about 30.
Yeah,
we were 30
thereabouts.
strong, right?
Yeah.
So according to the chefs who were there, it made a difference,
Yeah,
right, to the
for
morale
sure.
of the team. So funding is a big thing.
It's that whole 12th man concept that we talk about when we play football.
Yeah.
Your audience is your other player.
12 men, yeah.
Yeah. So
It's why you want to play the home leg, but not the away leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, it's not in our culture because, for the European countries, it's easy. They place a lot of emphasis on the competition, and then the way they've done, like their cooking styles and all that. It's very, very in line with what Bocuse d'Or is looking for, right?
And I think to them, they understand what the investment means. So, they were saying that if you win the Bocuse d'Or, you're set for life, essentially. Whereas I think I was asking Matthew before the competition, like, oh, if you win, what does that mean for you? And I was like, yeah, in Europe, it's great. Everyone will respect me. But coming back to Singapore, you still kind of have to explain to people what this competition is and the significance of winning it.
Yeah.
So I think, it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation, because if we don't hype it up, then it'll never get the funding that we need to win. But if we don't win, then people won't understand the importance of actually winning it.
Yeah. For those who are not in the trade, right, the Bocuse d'Or was founded by the legendary chef Paul Bocuse in 1987. This is considered the Olympics, the biggest. I mean, he is considered the Pope. They call him the Pope of the culinary world, right? So it's a big deal, and it's a biennial event held every 2 years, and it gives the chefs time to prepare for this competition, to train, like you say, and get ready these 2 dishes in a set time frame. Matthew is considering going back a 3rd time. This is his 2nd, right? He plays 6th. 3rd attempt in 2027.
Why?
Why? I mean, you spoke to him. Why do you think they want to go back and do this all over?
I guess it's the same reason that Joseph Schooling kept trying to win the Olympic gold. For him, it's a sense of achievement. I mean, the guy's a 3-star Michelin chef. What's left for him except the ultimate prize in the culinary world?
Yeah, okay. Because I think he is lucky that he is working Europe.
Yeah.
I think if he was working in Singapore, it would be a whole different kettle of fish.
Yeah, so actually a lot of his team, well, most of his team was actually from Norway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had said that, okay, this year we're not gonna compete for our country, we're not gonna support our country, we're all in on Team Singapore just for this guy.
Oh,
Wow.
that is very,
That's
very
quite something.
cool.
That's quite something.
How relevant do you think competitions like Bocuse d'Or are to Singapore's food industry,
Yeah, so SCB was saying that these competitions, they still help to train chefs. They build up that exposure, that pool of experience. So it helps create this sort of like group, the pool of local talent that will feed back into our own industry and hopefully, create happy diners, better quality restaurants.
With deep pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you think about this, right? As much as Matthew has done so well, he is based in Europe. And as you were mentioning earlier, I don't know whether anyone based in Singapore could ever get to that point because of the time and the money and the investment to get there is just it's huge.
Yeah.
And did you mention in the article also connections had something to do with that in terms of like the European countries placing, constantly in the top 3 or top 5? You think it plays a part?
Well, spicy question.
Come on.
I can't say for sure, but I mean,
Does it
you
feel
would
that
think,
way?
right? You would think. Well, okay. So I'm not sure exactly what the dynamics within the European nations are. So, but I would say that going there as an Asian reporter from Singapore, it kind of did feel like you were a stranger, you're a family friend at someone's family barbecue. Yeah, it's like, okay, they understand what's going on. I feel very new to this. I don't quite get what the processes entail. I don't get why everyone's dressed up and, like banging the drums and stuff.
Right,
Okay,
right.
let's go back on air and finish up this conversation.
Okay.
Casey and the Sunshine Band, that's the way I like it. On the morning drive with Flying Dutchman and Carrie Chong. Plus with us here in the studio, got Cherie Lok from the Straits Times talking about Bocuse d'Or. This is a global cooking competition that happens every 2 years, right?
We've got an interesting question that came through.
Yeah.
Someone's asking, was the United States represented?
Oh yeah, we finished above them.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes! Take that, Donald Trump!
yeah.
Sorry.
He couldn't care less about the Bocuse d'Or.
No, but those guys might get deported now, no?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Because they didn't do well.
shoot.
You never know.
Yeah. So we're talking about Matthew Leong. I want to just give credit to him because, he took us to number sixth place,
did,
right?
he did.
At the Bocuse d'Or, which is a really outstanding feat, seeing how it's such a small country, right? And it takes so much for someone to reach that level,
yeah.
of achievement. So kudos to Matthew. Matthew, if you're listening to this right now, please come cook for us.
Yes. So you watched this thing. You said there are 24 teams in the final, probably about 70 in the entire competition. What was the most surprising or memorable moment you had while you were covering this?
Oh, well, yeah, there were so many. I think just being there, witnessing, soaking in the atmosphere was pretty wild to me. But I think when the results were announced, the sheer amount of emotion that was pouring out from the contestants, from the crowd, I think, so they gave out this award for Best Assistant Chef, and this French girl won it, and she was so young, and she burst into tears, and her team lifted her on their shoulders and
wow.
paraded her around, and it was really cute. Yeah, and even seeing Matthew, reuniting with his family, his mother-in-law, who is such a great cheerleader for him throughout the competition, and just like thanking them, thanking his team for their support. I think it was really touching.
Good.
Yeah, I think we need to.
I want to go see this thing, man.
Me
I want
too.
to go see this thing.
Me too.
It's so cool.
STB, you listening to this?
Yes, we can go up. We can do live broadcasts and all from there.
FD's gonna put on his favorite cheerleading outfit.
Yes, I will. The short skirt, the tall
Pom-poms.
socks.
Yeah, we
everything.
need that.
Yeah.
Okay, 2027 Bocuse d'Or. We're here for you. All right, thank you so much, Cherie, for joining us once again here in the studio. The article has been published, right? In the Straits Times. Go check it out.
The Morning Drive. 1FM. Good time.